We are in the final countdown of training camp, but we are never in the final countdown of NewOrleans.Football because we are here for you guys every single day with all the news, the analysis, the podcast, the live game coverage, the post-game shows, the pre-game shows, and everything you need to know about the Saints. If you aren't signed up to our site yet, use the code CAMP24 to save 20% on your first payment. You got about a week, maybe 10 days to use that, and then it's going to expire. So get locked in for the whole entire season. It's $89 or $9 a month, but you can take 20% off of that on that first payment. So get that fixed today. Get locked in for the whole entire season. All right, welcome back to another episode of NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. We are coming to you from the Ochsner Podcast Studio, the Ochsner Health Podcast Studio on Veterans Memorial Boulevard, right next door to my guy, Matt Bowers Ford dealership. If you need a new car, check him out at one of his many locations all throughout the region, all different types of cars. But every single one, you will get great customer care, great prices, and have a great car buying experience. So go check him out today. All right, on today's show, we're going to keep recapping everything that's going on in the Saints, get you set up on everything you need to know about the Saints, and so much more. So keep it locked with us. We will be right back after this quick word from our great sponsors. Ochsner Health inspires healthier lives and stronger communities through a combination of standard-setting expertise, quality, and connection not found anywhere else in the region. To learn more about how Ochsner empowers people to get well and stay well, visit ochsner.org. Long live you. The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out.
Score big with Saints Score. Win up to $100,000. Enter the second chance drawings for cool Saints prize packages. Play Saints Score scratch-offs from the lottery.
Looking for the best insurance coverage at the lowest price? Look no further than Shabear Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They are a local independent insurance agency right here in New Orleans, specializing in home, flood, and auto insurance. Their agents are born and raised in the area and understand our community's unique needs and the homeowners insurance crisis our residents are currently in. At Shabear Insurance, the Earhart Agency, their dedicated team will shop every available carrier in the market, ensuring you get the most comprehensive coverage at the lowest possible price. They know your time is valuable, which is why they work diligently to provide you with the quotes as soon as possible. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Trust Shabear Insurance, the Earhart Agency, to protect what matters most to you. I do. I've been a client of theirs since 2021. When we couldn't find someone to insure our house because of the big oak tree growing over top, Shabear worked until they found someone that would work with us and give us the protection that we need to feel safe in our new home. Call them today at 504-326-6526 or visit them online at Protected by Shabear. That's 504-326-6526. Shabear Insurance, the Earhart Agency, your local insurance experts. Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey is an 86 proof blend of aged wheat bourbon, American light whiskey, and fresh Ponchatoula strawberries. Blended in New Orleans, it is not for the thin-skinned. Look for it in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. NewOrleans.Football is proud to be sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Make sure you check out their location on Veterans Boulevard. All right, let's get into the show.
Welcome into the Ochsner Health Podcast Studio. I'm Brandon Thomas along with Mike Triplett and Nick Underhill. It is now time for our first segment presented by the Louisiana Lottery. Look, throughout the whole training camp, we've talked a lot about the camp battles, but the clock is ticking. It's coming time for these battles to come to an end because week one is approaching. Kind of where are we at on these battles and who do you think will play week one?
Real quick before we get into that, just a quick word for the subscribers. We aren't doing overtime on the show because I missed the schedule a little bit, and we got to wrap this up and get the practice. Once it's over, we'll do the full show, but no overtime. I'll make it up to you guys with like a stream or something later in the week, and we'll get those questions answered. But yeah, not on that today. Top position battles. Starting week one at right tackle, I'm gonna take the under on Trevor Penning.
This isn't an over under. This is a who starts.
I'm gonna say Udo. I think it's gonna be Udo. I think it's really interesting that they opened the door yesterday after what many perceived was a step forward in that game, and they opened the door to it. And the door, I think, widened more than ever. Udo got some snaps there with the first team. And then afterward, I think for the first time, DA called it a competition. The last time it came up, he said he was waiting for somebody to step up.
Yeah.
It feels like the temperature's shifting a little bit, and to shift the temperature a little bit at this point in training camp, I thought was really, really interesting and eye-opening.
To be clear, and this is like the thing I transfix on first in practice every day, and when they do the walkthrough, when they come out in team for the first time, any changes. Left tackle left guard was a swinging gate all summer long in California. Like, hey, today it's Landon Young. Today it's Oli Udo. Today it's Lucas Patrick. It was Nick Saldivari for a while till he got hurt. Right tackle never changed. Not in a walkthrough, not even a hint that they were opening that until last night. But they only did it for like 3 snaps. Like, they got down to the goal line. They practiced one series of snaps at the 5-yard line. Udo goes in at right tackle. Trevor Penning standing in the back holding his helmet. Then they go back to the 2-minute drill, and it's Penning. So kind of weird to me. It wasn't like a rotation throughout practice. It was a glimpse. But we've been waiting for them to do more of that. I don't know what that signals. If they finally broke the seal, I mean, but if you're going to do that, why not give him every other series? Like, if this guy really has a chance to start in week 1, shouldn't he practice with the starters more than 3 snaps all summer? I think it should be Udo, but I'm gonna predict Penning until I see more. I'm gonna,
All right, so I guess I got to come in and I got to go with Udo. Even though it's not high quality spring water, it's still better than the water you were getting before. Like, I think Udo just coming in there.
I know we all think he should.
Yeah.
We think the Saints will.
No, I think week 1, just because the door has been opened at this point, it's just like, well, look, this dude hasn't convinced. Even though, kind of like we pointed out yesterday, going against San Francisco, Trevor didn't have the worst day. The door has now been open for Udo to come in there and just look better than Trevor to get on the field.
Yeah, I mean, they know they see the same things. And I'm telling you, that tape was worse than a lot of the fan base thought it was. It was not a good tape. It was a step forward. Again, we talked about it yesterday. Like, it seemed like you could get away with it under the right circumstances. Before, we didn't think you could get away with it at all. But, like, you're still on in the store shoplifting, and they got you on tape, and you're going to be in court, and it's showing up. You know what I mean? Like, they got you. It's not 1980 anymore where you just got to, like, escape the security guard's eye. Like, it's on film. Like, you can't, like, an impression isn't getting away with it. It wasn't good. Like,
this is a conversation we had after the first game, though. Like, okay, we've seen it now. What's like, Udo's getting a free pass from this team if they're even considering it. Then the guy had a season-ending injury in week 2 last year and did not come back until the start of training camp. Have him start in this final preseason game. Like, get him ready. I want to see it too, but, like, actually get him ready.
I think you could probably ramp it up, though. Like, they got 2 weeks. You get 2 weeks to get that chemistry. Like, I think they want to give Trevor every single shot at it. We'll see, though. I mean, like, I think it's probably, if you are Vegas setting lines, like, I think it does favor Trevor at this point. I just don't think. I just refuse to believe. I refuse to believe.
I know.
Like
I just can't believe they haven't started divvying out those snaps. It's kind of malpractice, honestly.
As long as it works in week 1, whatever you do.
Yeah, it's experimentation time.
Like, the thing you wouldn't want to do is cut bait on this guy too soon. And then because it's like we've said it before, like, it's ruined if you completely cut bait on him. And theoretically, he is the best one out of all of them. But, like, for whatever reason, like, he doesn't set a good anchor. Like, he's just not doing fundamentally sound things out there, and it's not clicking. And I think you're probably like, he has to figure this out at some point. Okay, 20 days, 21 days. I mean, at some point you do have to cut bait.
I mean, we talked about him already, but I actually finally saw positive, like, you would put this on his clips in the run game. He finally did something that not only, like, oh, that wasn't too bad, that was good, but the thing that has blown me away in one-on-ones in practice and games and his entire career is how bad he is against power. Feels like that should be a strength for somebody that big. Like, that's one thing if the speed guy's beating you around the corner consistently. But I can't believe how often we see him get blown back by power.
I think the problem for them is, like, the idea of Penning is so much better than the reality of Udo, but, like, the reality of Penning is so much worse than the reality of Udo right now. And I mean, it's again, I think they just want to give him every opportunity. And Like, I personally would have cut bait already. Like, I would have cut bait after that first game. I would have been like, nope.
I'm
And I
not
would have
even
made the
saying
switch
cut
then.
bait.
But
He
it's
can have-
it's easy to say, like, fire this guy, and it's another thing to, like, go out and fire this guy.
I'm not even saying cut bait. I'm saying give us the Jake Haener, Spencer Rattler approach. At least give Udo 50% of this. Like, it's crazy that it's been 99.9%. It was 100% until last night.
Yeah. Let's go to the next one. We kind of got into it in overtime yesterday, but who is going to play safety next to Tyrann Mathieu?
I'm sticking with Jordan Howden. I think it's Jordan Howden.
I would have had a different answer yesterday. You were with Howden in overtime yesterday. Then we went out last night, and Howden had a great practice. He actually got his first turn with the ones with the beginning of first team. I mean, in 7-on-7, it was Will Harris, but at the beginning of first team, it was Howden. First time we've seen that in a couple weeks. And he also downed a punt at the 1, which was a great play. Won't necessarily factor in this, but makes a difference on roster status. And then he had a really good run defense snap. So it was a really good practice for him. I also noticed combing through the box score that Jonathan Abram had 2 special teams penalties, which is disappointing. I didn't go back and watch the tape to see what they are, but I mean, maybe the tide's turning back toward Howden. He's the one I always thought all along, but I guess I'll still predict Jonathan Abram because I've been the Howden skeptic.
I have to go with Howden. I was riding with him early on, but then he took a dip, and now he's starting to kind of inch a little bit back up. At first, I was going to go with Abram, but I don't know. Something about his lack of speed in terms of being able to follow people, it just isn't there.
I could win this,
week
too,
one.
because it might be first down. It might be a run defense, and they might have Abram in on run defense.
Yeah. So it might be a rotational type thing.
I think it's kind of a thing where they're trying to keep pressure on a young guy who hasn't necessarily blown the doors off, but it's just like, not going to give it to you, not going to give it to you, not going to give it to you, not going to give it to you. And then, like, at the end, he gets it. I mean, we saw it in the same approach in the 17 camp with Marshawn. Marshawn ends up being the starter, but he was second team almost start to finish through that camp because he wasn't practicing the way they wanted him to. And, at the end, it's like, well, he's the best player. He's the best player. Like, I like the stuff Jonathan Abram does. I think if you're playing Jonathan Abram the bulk of those snaps, like, I think you're short. Like, he's not a great coverage player. Like, I think you're limiting what you can do on defense because you don't have that range. And there's plays where you want Tyrann in the box. Like, if Abram's the guy next to Tyrann, like, you're pigeonholing Tyrann to a spot like where you aren't able to use kind of his versatility. And if you can't use his versatility, like, the whole point of Honey Badger kind of diminishes quite a bit. Like, if he's not this multifaceted player, so I would think it should be Howden. I think it will be Howden, and if it's not, I think that's a colossal disappointment and just kind of the building of this defense.
Jonathan Abram, I would describe as what we wish and hope Oli Udo is.
Yeah, like, a fine option.
Fine.
Yeah.
Even but yeah, I think DA kept on saying during training camp that he needed to see somebody prove it. And so I think this is now Howden's opportunity to try to prove it going into week 1. Now, let's go to receiver. If Rashid Shaheed isn't healthy and able to come back week 1, who do we think the top 3 receivers are next to Olave?
Hardest question on the list for me.
So I got it. I mean, I think it's Chris. Mm-hmm. Chris is number 1. Cedric, and then I think Bub Means.
Wow, there you go. That's a bold one. I mean, a week ago, Bub Means wasn't in this conversation.
Right.
It was, it used to be Mason Tipton in this conversation. Yeah. Still didn't see him out of practice again last night. Equanimous St. Brown, he's sort of that. Jonathan Abram, fine. Hopefully Oli Udo is fine. Equanimous St. Brown is fine. This was supposed to be Aterberry's job to lose, and in the first preseason game, it looked like he won it back. Then he had a rough game and an injury last week. And Bub Means comes out of nowhere, starts getting those first-team snaps, has a huge clutch catch in the game on the touchdown drive, 2 catches. Yeah, man, that's really interesting. I'm like 35% St. Brown, 35% Perry, 30% Means. I don't even know if that adds up. I'll go A.T. Perry as the 3rd receiver if Shaheed's not back, but it's wide open now.
I made sure that I wrote it down pre-show just in case somebody had the same answer as me and they're like, oh, no, son, you just copying my paper. But I put Means on here. I think
this guy just always says whatever you say.
No, that's cap. That's cap.
That's cap. Over my
that's
draft
cap.
That's cap.
That's cap.
Sat down next to me to write after practice. I think it's crazy. Yeah,
unbelievable.
Facts. Nah, I mean, look, I made sure I typed it out, and I didn't touch my keyboard after that because but means like his ability to come in first game and then make a crucial play with the first team. I was like, okay, well, this is a guy who can handle this pressure up to this point. And he's a guy during practice that they're not sitting there like patting him on the back. Oh, come on, bub, you can get it, you can get it. It's like, hey, you got to make a play.
Yeah.
You got to make a play to get on the field. And he's shown that he could kind of do that at this point. Plus, he's on the other side of being injured. So I think that availability is going to keep him on the field.
We will talk about these guys again on the Friday show when we're saying who needs to have a big game in the third preseason games. I'm sure A.T. Perry, Edwin and St. Brown, Bub Means will all be out there.
Yeah.
And hopefully Mason Tipton will be out there, but not great not seeing him last night when a lot of other injured guys came back.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, let's hop into our next segment presented by Aaron Rose. Last night, we got to see the leg in full display. Charlie Smith was out there, and you were up there, keep going, let him keep kicking. And he hit a huge one. Where do we think this kicker battle is right now?
I think it's close, man. I think it's close. They've both missed 12 so far, I believe, throughout camp. It's close.
I think Smith has missed I have the totals. I should have them up here. I think Smith had missed one more than Groupie, and then Smith did miss another one last night, but he went 8 of 9. 8 of 9 is a good night, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hit from 65. I mean, it's great to hit from 65. It really is. It really is. And I think he has a generational type talent there. A lot of these young guys are hitting long kicks. So like I started searching Twitter last night, and like these younger dudes have bigger legs. Like it's just the evolution of kickers. Like people keep getting better, and I think we're going to start seeing it getting pushed out to 65, 66, 67, 68. Like Charlie is somebody, though, that has been kicking the ball for 364 days, not 365.
Happy anniversary tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. For him to go out there and hit 65 in front of, I don't know, 8, 10,000, 12,000 fans, whatever it was, I mean, that's something because he's really never kicked in front of a crowd, did in the first preseason game. This is the second time. Nailed it. That's a high-pressure kick, from that distance with people watching, and he hit it. I mean, the thing for me, though, is whoever they have more confidence in at 45 yards is the guy that I think should be on the team. And, 65 is great. I think there's an argument to be made that if you are a team that you think is going to have a mediocre or possibly subpar offense, taking that distance out a little bit adds value. But, yeah, it's great if your drive distance, if you get to the 50, you can score. But, if you're getting to the 45 and you're blowing those, that's a problem. If you're getting to the 30 and you're blowing those, that's a problem. So you're going to have more of those. Whoever is better at 45, 50 yards, I think is a person who should win the job.
So here's the thing. It's so easy to dismiss Smith and say, yeah, but he's so inconsistent. Yeah, he makes the 65-yarder, but then he misses. Groupie has missed every time Smith misses, Groupie misses too. Groupie's not a safer option based on this summer. He's a safer option in theory. Yep. And I actually asked DA last night, I'm like, how much of the equation is just mentally getting over knowing this guy had never kicked a football a year ago in his life? Or, that. That's and he said, yeah, that's we're aware of it. He's gotten so much better from the spring to the summer, but we know how raw he is. I've said it all along. With my 35% or whatever, I think 1/3 of this battle is the veteran kicker. And frankly, if I was running this team right now, what I would do is I don't need to keep developing Groupie anymore as this find that I think I found last year, because now I've got the developmental guy in Smith. I think I might take the 5-year NFL veteran that comes free in week 1 and have Smith on my practice squad, like Josh Sly or whoever that is. You know what I mean? Groupie's almost the third option to me right now, because I think you can find more reliable 40-yard kicker than Groupie, and I like Smith as the better high upside, high ceiling developmental kicker, and Groupie's kind of second in both categories for me right now. So this time I'll do the bold prediction, and I'll say neither. Wow. I'll say my week 1 starter at kicker is a guy that they pick up on the waiver wire while they keep developing Smith.
You're jumping completely off the board, man. You bringing in new game pieces.
It's what I would do. Seriously, I would find who is the career 82% kicker. Somebody else is Cairo Santos. He's on his 3rd team, but shoot, he's been through it. He's going to come make 82% of his kicks for us until we think Smith is ready to trot him out there.
Since jump, when we made our first 53, I had Charlie on there.
You didn't copy anybody on that one.
I saw the vision. I saw the vision. But hearing DA talk about it last night, I kind of equated it to the evolution of basketball in a certain sense. ever since Steph Curry hopped on the scene, people were shooting three-pointers before, but it was rare that they were shooting at that high of a percentage. Steph Curry came and he just was hitting it. And during that, he just continued to up his shot range. Charlie's coming in, he's booting it from long distance. When I was a kid, it was Kobe. We was hitting mid-ranges, getting dirty work in and all that, making magic in the paint. Groupie kind of
weren't making no magic in the paint.
That's right.
We
got a court out there.
You're 5'8".
Since when?
Since the tape measure.
Come on, man. We got a court out there. None of y'all trying to see me in that paint.
Bro, you hit the paint like Charles Oakley. Like you aren't making Kobe magic in the paint.
Big Oak was smacking people. What you talking about, man?
That ain't magic.
But no, like I was like kind of what I was saying though. The Steph Curry thing has kind of created an avalanche of people shooting threes but not able to hit free throws or mid-ranges and stuff like that. So I think if they can find somebody that could do a little bit of both, which I think is Charlie, then they'll be all right.
I disagree with your analogy in one sense.
Yeah.
I just don't think the 65-yarder is the new three-pointer. I mean, the three-pointer was a brilliant idea that everybody was like, oh, shoot, this makes so much sense. 3 is worth more than 2. 65-yard field goal, he might kick 1 all season.
Yeah, and it's still low percentage. Yeah.
Like, he might make it, but they might attempt 1 all season. You know, so
that's true.
I don't think it's revolutionary to decide, hey, let's start going with the guys that make 65 yarders.
The thing with the three-pointers, they figured out that the percentages were the same as or better than like a elbow mid-range jumper. Like it's not like 65 isn't going to be the same as like, you know what I mean? Like the percentage isn't going to, you aren't going to have like an analytical evolution there. Like it's still a low percentage play, but like in a close game, you might attempt one, you know, if you have it, if it's in your arsenal. So, I mean, it extends your scoring territory a little bit. And you know, if he becomes really good if he makes the 60-yarder, the 50-yarder, like it really, you know, it really does kind of change the length of the field for you a little bit. So, yeah, I don't know.
It's an interesting element. And just the main thing is his growth from August. I think he's better this August 21st than he was last August 21st when he had never been presented with an American football. He was like, what is this object you're handing me 364 days a year ago? But no, I mean, just from the spring to the summer, they're not going to ignore how much he's grown. No matter what, they can't wait to keep developing this guy.
Yeah. Let's close out the A block with our next segment presented by New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company. We're less than a week away from cut down days. Who kind of has played themselves on or played themselves out of the 53-man roster?
I mean, we just had a long Bub Means discussion, he was going to be my first answer on this if we weren't talking about him earlier. I mean, he was on my bubble a week ago. And now we're talking about him maybe being the number 3 receiver. So he's a big one. I don't think A.T. Perry's played his way off.
He's on the bubble. He's on the bubble. He's on the bubble.
Yeah.
He's on the bubble.
Yeah, that was a bad game. Coming off of such a good first preseason game. Not only did he only catch 2 of 6 targets, turned around the wrong way, I think, on that one. He got an offensive pass interference. He was injured last week. Yeah, I mean, it was a tough week for him.
Yeah, the thing about
I think he's on the roster, though.
This roster's it feels very static to me. Like it feels a little bit more set than a lot of other years. I kind of just feel like I feel like making the 53 is pretty easy. Like it's not. You get to the end, and it's kind of like, who am I putting on now? Who am I taking off? You know what I mean? Like, I think linebacker, there's a couple tough spots. I think Orgy's played himself on, but is that
he
a
was
surprise?
Going to be my next answer. Yeah, he was probably already on mine, but 8 tackles in that game, I think, cemented it.
Bub Memes is the guy that I think has played his way on. And we kind of had Kevin Austin Jr. on the bubble. He's off for me. Like, he saved Hayner on a throw, no doubt about it. But like, he's off. He's off for me for sure. Like, I don't have him making the team.
Man.
Maybe Roderick Teamer, a special teams penalty when you were already on the bubble and you were here just to play special teams. I don't know. That's probably not fair, but yeah, Means and Orgy were the 2 I had written down too.
I don't know why y'all keep on coming and look at my paper and copying off my paper.
We're gonna let you go first next time. You'll be like, oh, I didn't have this one yet. You guys go first.
But no, I mean, Means was already kind of on there for me based on his performance. But Orgy, I think him playing with almost every set of defensive rotations they had on the field and just consistently being out there and made plays kind of helps solidify himself on the roster long term. It kind of become an option if somebody goes down during the season.
I have a question. Has Foskey played himself off?
Maybe we'll see.
Do you cut him though?
No, I don't think he cut a second round.
Yeah, I don't think he cut him yet. We'll see. I'm very anxious to see how this plays out. Well, that'll do it for this first segment. We appreciate y'all for sticking around. Make sure you stay in here and hear a word from our great sponsors, because when we come back, we'll continue to analyze last night's practice and the game from last Sunday and more on NewOrleans.Football.
Total Maintenance is one of the largest locally owned home and commercial service providers in South Louisiana. They were founded in 1980 and serve the greater New Orleans and Baton Rouge markets. And Total Maintenance wants to show some love to our NOF listeners. They have a membership program that gets you 2 tune-up visits for AC and heating, as well as club membership discounts of 15% on all repairs, half off of all diagnostic charges, and 3-year warranties on most repairs for membership clients. This is usually priced at the low price of $24.95 a month per system, but if you tell Total Maintenance that you found them through NOF, they'll lower the price to $20.95 per month per system for as long as you keep the membership active. It will never increase. Total Maintenance has a tune-up special running this summer for $79, down from the normal price of $179. This is a one-time offer for one system only. They also offer a free diagnostic on second opinions on units deemed to be unrepairable, and they offer free estimates for replacements as well as commercial maintenance programs. Services include AC and heating service and replacement, electrical service, plumbing service, as well as generator service and installation. They are Total Maintenance. Find them at tm-ac.com or give them a call at 504-841-3300, or if you're in the Baton Rouge area, 225-480-1000. Martin Wine and Spirits is home to a selection of hand-picked barrel select bourbon, whiskeys, and much, much more. They are family owned and operated since 1946 and specialize in wine, spirits, gourmet food, gift baskets, catering, and tasting events. They have many locations, so they're never too far away. You can check them out in Metairie, New Orleans, Mandeville, and Baton Rouge, or if it's more convenient, you can always shop online. Whether you're a wine novice or a seasoned collector, you'll enjoy the Martin Wine and Spirit experience.
Score big with kickoff combos at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company. Comes with fried shrimp and your choice of soft-shell crab traditional or our famous thin-fried catfish, all served with garlic herb fries, starting at only $10.99. Only at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of stepping into your dream home. At Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union, we can help make that dream a reality with a team dedicated to you. When you partner with Jefferson Financial, you do so for the life of the loan. Having a single point of contact when questions arise is invaluable. Our experts are here to guide you every step of the way. There's no better time to invest in your future. Apply online at jeffersonfinancial.org. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Whether you are a local New Orleanian or a fan in town for the game, get your pre- and post-game fired up at Aaron Rose. Local chaos and local love for the black and gold. Wake up and live with daily drink specials, mimosas, screwdrivers, Bloody Marys, and hot or frozen Irish coffees, all just $3 or $4 between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Aaron Rose, half a block from Bourbon Street in the French Quarter, 811 Conti Street.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktails. Wall-to-wall, state-of-the-art TVs mean you'll see every touchdown, Hail Mary, and big turnover in crystal clear HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino in Baton Rouge, where every moment is a win.
Welcome back to the Oshner Health Podcast Studio. It is now time for our next segment presented by Hard High Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey. Look, we didn't talk too much about Derek Carr's performance during Sunday's game, but he didn't have the sharpest performance, but he made some clutch plays down the stretch. Did he go up or down in people's eyes?
Same, stayed the same. I think the timing is off a little bit. I mean, the 19-yard throw to Olave over the middle was behind him. The out route to Cedric Wilson was behind him a little bit. He did make some plays, so I think that was good. I think that timing element and the accuracy element needs to be, just a little bit more on. And look, I mean, I thought there were times we saw those issues last year too. I mean, when you watch Drew Brees forever, like you kind of have this expectation of precision that's probably unattainable by a lot of people. But I do think that there's another level there from what we saw in that last game that he can take it up. And I think when that clicks, like the offense will be better.
Yeah, I think the people who had a sour taste in their mouth, I mean, I think he looked a little worse on those 2 3 and outs. I thought the touchdown drive was good. The 19-yard pass wasn't perfect, but It was a good way to get out from the own shadow of the end zone. Then
It's a good way to get someone hurt, though, too. That throw was behind him, and it got him hit.
Yeah, it's true. But 2 clutch throws on that drive when he was under pressure, which we were talking about the offensive line playing better. There were 2 times where he was just flooded with pressure, including the 4th and 5, and he made a really good throw on that. So I think net equal, I think, is fair. And again, I mean, I think there are things about this offense that, I just like my general feeling overall is good fit for the offense. Feel pretty good about Derek Carr. Slightly up on the entire 2024 offseason, even based coming out of this game.
We'll have to see if they play in this game against Carolina to see if they've gotten tighter on that connection. But
Tennessee.
I'm
Carolina's
sorry.
week 1.
Carolina's week 1.
He will play against Carolina.
That's true.
He's going to
play
start
the whole game against
Bold
Carolina.
prediction, he will start ahead of Spencer Rattler in week 1. I know a lot of people think Rattler,
There you
but
go.
I'm going to go Carr.
I'm betting
week
with
1.
you, man. I'm copying off your answers now. But let's get into our next segment presented by Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency. Last night, fans, for the first time this whole training camp, it was a different experience. They got to see really what this Saints team is going to be. How was the energy last night, and did you feel like that affected the atmosphere of practice?
Definitely affected the atmosphere of practice. Yeah, it was cool. It was good to see the fans out there hear them. I mean, they were excited, fired up. A lot of cheering and stuff. Seeing the players sign the autographs. Carr was the last guy off the field. That was kind of cool to see. But other guys were out there forever too. Cam Jordan, Olave, Foster Moreau was one of the last guys out there. Alvin was out there for quite a while. Olave went in, came back out. Like, he was out there for a while. Like, so. They kind of understand their place in the community, and it was good to see the fans feel the excitement, hear them, and it was just absolutely different atmosphere.
Yeah, I think there's an obvious happy middle ground atmosphere here. I mean, if they like the work they got in California and the temperature, which allowed them to. We still need to add this up. I mean, I feel like they almost had double the snaps that they had last year because they got so much practice in. They never went inside. They never slowed things down. They went at such a high tempo. I like all that, but have special days for the fans too. Have weekends open to the fans in California. Come back home a week earlier, maybe, and do this whole week between the first and second preseason game. Next year, they only have 1 road game, 2 home games. I mean, I think there's they don't have to do their entire training camp in front of the fans, but give them 5 of these, and then they'll even feel more special.
Yep.
Make them events like this. I thought that was a really cool practice last night.
It was really cool to see. You just missed it. You missed being around everybody. But now let's get into our Martin Wine and Spirits question of the day. Martin's is home to a wide selection of hand barrel select bourbon, whiskeys, and more. Martin's, so much more than just wine. Today's question comes from Travis Roberts. Travis asks, who is the backup quarterback if the season started today?
Today, I mean, not without Game 3 being seen, you have to go Jake Haener. I think Jake feels like the one, and I thought he came to that game way too hot, too hot. I thought he looked bad on that first series, came in way too hot, nearly threw a pick, just everything. Like, it just looked like a guy that was really pumped up and came out there and just was playing too hot. And then he settled down. He saw it a little bit better. He said afterward he knows what he would need to do to adjust that. But it feels like if you have to put somebody into a game following an injury, he feels like the more ready person to handle that assignment. Now, Rattler has significantly more upside, significantly more to develop. That's not like a status on who's going to have the better career, who's more talented. It just feels like Jake is more ready to handle that job today. And I think that's fine. I think it's totally fine.
It's crazy, though. Their peaks came together. Their lulls have come together. I mean, there's never been a point where one guy feels like he's playing better than the other guy in camp.
There was the week where Haener or Spencer had the thigh injury on the first. That whole week, I thought they were together. I thought Jake came back from his day off from cancer, went up a level, and started playing better, and Rattler kind of stayed the same. Then Rattler came out of that game, was hurt, and I feel like Jake went up another peg. But this game was an opportunity for. I thought Spencer left the door wide open for Jake to just kind of run away with it, and he didn't. So, I mean, in that sense, I agree completely. That was both a dip for both of them.
Yeah, so nobody's come and said. So I'll just continue with the same answer that I've kind of had all along, which is Haener's going to be the guy ready to go in at a moment's notice in week 1. If Carr was going to miss 8 weeks, or if the season's lost, or something like that, then maybe you turn to Rattler and say, let's see what we've got for the future. But the who's ready to step in at a moment's notice, I still feel like Haener's there.
Yeah, keep a game together, keep maybe a week together, maybe Jake. if you're in a situation where it's extended, yeah. I mean, I'm opening the door to, like, why not? Like, at that point, like, extremely talented player who I think has a ton of upside. So, like, where it's at today, I tweeted this a while ago, and it pissed a lot of people off. And I was like, it doesn't matter where he's at. Like, he's a long-term play, da-da-da. Like, if he's developing, like, who cares? Like, who really cares? I think it is better if he is the backup. You get those scout team reps and all that stuff. But, like, if he's not that, like, I don't think it's I'm not down on him if Jake beats him out right now is what I'm saying.
And you've mentioned that about the scout team reps a couple times, but I'm not making this up, last year, didn't Haener, because they're trying to develop him, didn't they go kind of half and half last year and give actually Haener some, so he didn't just sit there doing nothing last year?
He might have gotten some, but I know when Sean was running things, like Garrett Grayson got none. Like all the third guy got none.
And Ian Book said that too. But I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't split that to keep both them fresh.
I mean, sure, it's definitely possible.
We appreciate y'all for stopping in today. To continue to provide analysis with y'all, we got to split because we have practice, the first practice back in Metairie during training camp. Catch you next time.